Watches are expensive, with some brands owning certain styles, making those styles impossible to attain and pricey to get. For this reason, micro brands exist. Yes, often they are unique and different, but sometimes they do just do similar designs to popular or iconic ones with their own slight twist, such as the watch I am reviewing today, a Cartier Crash-like watch from Pascal called the Paradox. Now, this isn't the sort of watch I would review. It's something a bit different, because it's not a really good value high-end watch like I've seen from Zelos or Christopher Ward before. It's not something that's really affordable and high-spec like brands like Merkur or maybe Addy's Dive. It's more of a fashiony watch that is just there for the looks. See, this is a fashion watch with the target audience not of watch collectors and watch enthusiasts, but more arty fashion interested people. The brand's main shtick is that everything they make has lab-grown diamonds which are chemically identical to natural ones, minus the slave labour, which if you ask me is a positive, because though natural diamonds are worth more, even though lab-grown ones are, again, literally exactly the same chemically and physically, they are mined through slave labour and destroy the environment, so I'd always prefer lab grown. Just quickly before we move on, I want to say that I'm doing a giveaway for the Merkur Hill at 7,500 subscribers. All you have to do to enter is like, sub and comment the hidden message in the video. It takes 3 seconds, costs you nothing and helps me out greatly. Now, as for history of the brand, there's not exactly much to go off of. Pascal is a California-based jewellery brand that specialise in lab-grown diamond accessories, including watches. They aren't a watch brand, they are a jewellery brand. Oof, do excuse me for taking my jacket off, it is boiling in my studio. Anyways, they are a young brand, right? I think they've been around since about 2021 and their whole brand is trying to focus on making lab-grown diamond things that aren't too expensive to give more people accessibility to diamond things, such as watches, such as rings, such as jewellery, all that sort of stuff. One interesting thing to note as well is that the brand's name actually pays homage to the 17th century French scientist and philosopher Blaise Pascal, who invented the Pascal, a measurement of pressure. Now, I don't know this for sure, I haven't seen it on their website or asked them, but I am assuming that this name was picked as lab-grown diamonds are made using high pressure, the pressure of which is measured in pascals, with each lab diamond needing about 10 million pascals of pressure. Spec-wise, the dial is a basic one, let's be honest. It has some funky numerals which are sort of squiggly like the watch itself. We have sort of beige on the outside with a malachite pattern. It's not actually real malachite, but a malachite pattern on the middle, which is then separated with their whole thing, diamonds. I believe I counted 30 0.01 carat diamonds, which adds up to 0.3 carats of diamonds here. If you like diamonds, do with that what you will. I don't really know much about them, to be honest, but obviously that does add something to the dial that is a bit different. The crystal is sapphire, but there isn't any notable AR coating, which is good to keep in mind. The strap is basic leather, and it's honestly not bad quality, but the way that the clasp works does slightly misshape and bend the strap. I do see that they tried to go for something different that allows the perfect fit even with leather, but I think it's a bit fiddly and I think I would have just preferred a normal clasp, honestly. The movement is a quartz, but at least a good one, a Swiss Ronda 751, which is of course accurate, and due to the fact that the watch is a two-hander, it's not that big a deal, right? If you have a seconds hand on a quartz watch, it makes it look lower end. You can tell that it's quartz because it ticks one at a time, unless it's mecha quartz or unless it's a sweeping seconds quartz, which are both quite rare. But you know what I mean. Generally, a quartz movement is bad because it makes the seconds hand look bad. But on a two-handed watch, you're obviously not going to see the minute moving and ticking. It's going to be moving at a very slow pace. So the watch actually looks just the exact same as it would if it had an automatic movement. For that reason, I'm not going to complain too much. It would have been nice to see a automatic movement, but realistically, a quartz movement makes the most sense. especially because this watch is only like, I think it was $365. It's not that expensive, so an automatic movement would bump the price up quite a bit. Size-wise, it is 30mm by 44mm and 7.8mm thick, but with no lugs, that wears quite small. I definitely say that the watch is unisex and works both on bigger men's wrists and smaller women's wrists. Spec-wise, it's got 3 ATM of water resistance, so it'll be okay in rain, but nothing more. Don't go swimming with it, obviously, don't wash your hands with it on, anything like that. And it is gold PVD coated stainless steel. However, it does not say which grade of steel, like 316L for example, which is quite common, so I can't comment on that, but I'm gonna hope that it is probably 316L since that's what most brands use. As well as that, it does actually have a quick release system on the strap and the clasp clicks nicely, so both of those things are respectable. The packaging is actually surprisingly nice. I quite like it. I feel like obviously they're going for a Cartier sort of design here with the Crash look-alike, you know, wavy, looks like it's been melted a bit. Their packaging is quite similar to Cartier except it's green instead of red. Has quite a nice opening experience. I like the logo on it. I like all of the print. The fact that it comes with the certificates for the diamonds as well, that's quite nice. Little additions like that all add up. They all make it feel a bit more premium when you're opening the product. Finishing wise, I mean, look, it's a fully polished PVD coated watch, so the finishing isn't good. It's not bad, but it's just plain and basic. There's no brushing or places where polishing and brushing meet for me to say if it's sharp or well done, which I guess is a good and bad thing since it's a little boring, but it works for the style and it means production costs are lower. So I won't complain there, although I will say the only place that actually kind of has notable finishing is the back of the watch. The case back seems decently finished, but apart from that, it's just, you know, it's shiny, polished PVD coated. You can't really have high-end or low-end polishing on PVD coating. It sort of always just looks the same. So yeah, the finishing might not be notable, it might not be high-end, but again, that's not what they're going for. They're just going for a fashion watch. This isn't a watch that me or you would buy, it's more so something we'd probably buy for a girlfriend or for a wife, or something along those lines. Because design-wise, it's quite feminine, and the packaging and all of this, it just feels very gift-like. It feels like a watch you would gift rather than buy for yourself, if you know what I mean. The target audience is most likely going to be men buying these for their significant others, so that is good to keep in mind. They're not just going for high finishing, they're not just going for insane value, it's more so design, it's more so that it has diamonds, that's what it's about. Overall, it's a middle of the road watch in terms of quality for the price. Like 5 out of 10 in terms of value for money, but it's got a different design and the lab grown diamonds and packaging do add something. I wouldn't buy this for myself and I wouldn't recommend us watch collectors or enthusiasts to buy either. But again, we aren't the target audience. It's not really our thing with low-end specs and okay finishing and a mass-produced quartz movement, but it's the perfect watch to gift your girlfriend or something, or maybe just as a statement piece if you're going out in a tux. This is the sort of watch I could see a celebrity wearing to the Oscars, if you know what I mean. My opinion on the brand is this. It's a ladies' jewellery brand that makes okay stuff for the money, but it's at least ethical and fairly priced for what it is. They don't aim to make watches for the collector with hot horology and high specs and good finishing. They're more so a brand a watch collector would get his girlfriend or wife a watch from. My only issue with the brand is kind of the strap clasp system that they have. Again, it's unique, it's cool. You can, I guess, get a better fit than just a normal, you know, pinhole. But it does obviously make the watch a bit fiddly, and it's also going to ruin the actual strap itself a little bit. Obviously, having it bent constantly the whole time you're wearing it in a complete angle like that isn't really going to help the watch when it comes to longevity. If this was a watch marketing itself as a high spec monster for the collector, I would have some issues with the finishing and the dial and such, but that's not the target audience they're going for. Most of the people who you're going to be buying this from, you could give any old watch to and they'd think it's nice. This is at least nicer than a lot of the big brands, right? in terms of the price range. If you look at $365 girls' watches, they're normally a lot worse than this, so I will allow them that. It's decent quality and it's not too vastly overpriced. My verdict is, if you want to get your girlfriend or wife something pretty to look at with some diamonds that isn't too expensive, it's a good buy. But otherwise, there's nothing particularly notable to the male collector. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed the video. I know the brand isn't what I would usually go for. It's not a brand I would usually work with. But I can't just stick to the same things, which is high-end spec monster watches at low prices and stuff. I've got to do a little bit of different things, right? I've got to aim at some more target audiences, broaden my audience. Anyways, always remember, time keeps ticking, so use the time you have wisely.